the Canadians. We're going to keep an eye on them as well.
Here's the lineup for the men's 4x100 meters final, and it's a really strong one. The Jamaicans aside, the only surprise that they're not in that 8-strong lineup. But you'll be looking at the talent of the emerging Canadians, the power and abilities of the United States team. Great Britain will be dangerous in lane 6, and the Chinese so strong in lane 7.
Well, one change that I see right off the bat is LaShawn Collins is going to lead off. Marvin Bracey led them off in the heats. Here goes LaShawn Collins, just a youngster from the University of Houston, getting coached by the great one, Carl Lewis. You know, it's kind of interesting. In the introductions, Canada almost seems to be the sentimental favorite in this stadium. As soon as they got announced, there was certainly a raise in volume.
Most definitely. I think that there's that. Well, they're not going to be underdogs for too much longer, you get the impression, but certainly there was a big cheer as they emerged. Akeem Haynes will lead them off. He had the lead leg in Rio, which ended in bronze. They are the world leaders this year. Fastest time recorded in Gainesville in Florida. Andre Degrasse, such a talent. And the Canadians again about managing the baton to get it into his hand.
I was talking to his coach, Stuart McMillan. He's based out of the Altis camp in the USA. He's a nice guy, he's a laid-back guy, and he's probably one of the most talented athletes that he's ever had the privilege of working with. And we know that already, and I think there's so much more to come, isn't there, this World Championship year?
Yeah, it's a cheeky little look in that first heat. So on the outside, here they are, Barbados. That's Mario Burke, medalist at the World Under-20s in Big Gosh last year. On the inside, Xinjiang Chang. They set a Chinese record in Rio, and he was on the opening leg. CJ Uja for Great Britain. Third fastest in the world this year, the British quartet. And here's the United States, and it is LaShawn Collins, indeed coached by Carl Lewis. The States looking to retain their title. Again, the cheers go up. Akeem Haynes will lead off the Canadians. They won Heat 2. The surprise winners, perhaps, of Heat 1 were the Netherlands. Giovanni Codrington starts with a baton. The Australians have 19-year-old Trey Williams. And Marvin René of France run their best time of the year so far in qualification. Well, a boisterous atmosphere inside this stadium, now descending into a hush. Breeze continuing to blow around the arena.
On your marks.
And they're called down to their marks for this 4x100 meters relay for men, the final here at these World Relays. From the inside, the French in lane 1, Australia 2, Netherlands 3, Canada 4, the United States in 5, Great Britain 6, China 7, Barbados right on the outside. They go in lane 8.
Set.
40 seconds to decide a gold at the World Relays. The United States have gone out well, but the Canadians chasing hard. The first changeover good and clean from Great Britain as well. They're hauling in China outside them. Inside the United States, the Canadians, I think, still have a little bit of work to do. The handover for Britain is good as well for Daniel Talbot. And look at the Chinese starting to put the accelerators down, but it's all set up for the final 100 meters, the final leg. The British have made a mess of it, but the Americans are clear. It's Gatlin all the way. The Canadians are nowhere either. It's Justin Gatlin for the United States of America in 38.43. And it is gold for the US. It was billed as the big contest with Gatlin and Degrasse. It wouldn't materialize. The Canadians were gone. The British were gone. The gold is for the US.
Well, they won the title in 2015. Ryan Bailey holding off Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt 8.65, the fastest ever electronic recorded final leg, and Usain Bolt couldn't catch the USA 2 years ago. And Justin Gatlin talking to his good friend Atto Bolden. It's the USA that win again. But what a race full of drama. The Great Britain and Northern Ireland team were flying. Eda Burren, the youngster, was put on the last leg. The changes were made. It looks like he went off too early. There was no chance he was going to get it in the takeover zone.
Well, this was a race that ultimately came down to some errors. This is the British in the handover between Talbot and Eda Burren, and their race ended right there, and it looked so promising. Of course, they changed the lineup. No Adam Jamili. Talbot went from the last leg to the third. But what was also noticeable in the final reckoning was that the Canadians had gone as well. And the Chinese managed to get in there for third place. In what looked like, in the end, 3 non-finishers in a really hectic race. But ultimately, it was Justin Gatlin leading the Americans home comfortably, retaining the title they won, to the frustration of the Canadians, who had a lot of support in this stadium. And here we can see where it all went wrong for them. It was a drop.
Just like the Jamaicans dropped the baton, the handoff was right where it needed to be. They just didn't see the exchange throw.
Aaron Brown to Brendan Rodney, leaving Degrasse frustrated. And at that point, the real race is on for the United States. Talbot running quickly, slingshotting round that bend. The Canadians looking back in frustration, knowing their race was all over.
These things happen in relays, though, don't they? The main goal, of course, is the IAAF World Championships in London in August. Remember, Jamaica lost this last year to the USA, and as you mentioned previously, Dan, turned it round when it matters. But it's such a waste of an opportunity for so many teams. But it's rather now than another time.
Confirmation of another gold for the United States in the World Relays. Justin Gatlin bringing them home. And Barbados getting the silver medal, with China 39-22 securing a place on the podium, bronze place, but 3 non-finishers, including